Broken Dream. Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer. Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I was mooching about in Morrison's the other day and I picked up a can of this. This is the Siren craft beer Broken Dream breakfast stout. I can honestly say I've never had a breakfast stout, or I might have had a stout for breakfast, but it wasn't classed as breakfast stout. One of the reasons I think they're calling it breakfast stout is because it contains milk and coffee. Now, I'm very wary about certain additives or adjuncts, as they call them, and this has got two that are immediately ringing alarm bells for me. That is the lactose, it's the milk sugar, and I tried that once in a pineapple milkshake IPA. It was fucking vile. The missus loved it. What is that? What do I know? This has got coffee, real coffee, from some big noise in London who does coffee. Let me get the bins on. I'll tell you exactly who that's come from. That has come from Climpson and Sons, whoever they are. I've never heard of them. I'm not a massive coffee fan, to be honest. I much prefer tea, but I'm going to put all them prejudices aside and I'm going to try this. This is the can. It is 6.5% in the ABV stakes, so definitely don't drink this for breakfast, especially not if you're going to work, unless it's your last day and you're going to tell your boss to go stick his job. It's quite a nice can, like black and gold and white. Black on the top, typical craft beer fare. These are from Berkshire, up in sort of heading to the west of England. I've not had this before, but I do like stouts, but I've not had coffee stout before. It's got some interesting malts in it as well. I'm going to fill it out first. Let me fill it out and sniff it and whatnot, and then I'll tell you what interesting ingredients it's got in it. Oh yeah. That smells really strong of burnt malt, coffee, and not a great deal else. Let me pour it out and see what's going on. Now, as it says, this is a stout, so it is going to be dark. I'm going to let that head go down because that is huge. It says to store it cold and serve it cool. This is pretty chilled, bordering on cold, but I'm just going to let that settle. I'm going to tell you what's in here because it's quite interesting. It's got Maris Otter, malted oats, brown malt and smoke malt, Cararoma, chocolate and roast barley. Now that is a hell of a lot going on, and the hops are Magnum hops, which I'm probably not going to get any of whatsoever. But what is exciting me about this is the amount of awards it's won. This won the Camera Best Beer of Britain award in 2018, and they were voted Best Brewery in 2015, so they've got some pretty good credentials. It was Supreme Champion Beer of Britain. Let's give it a go. I've let the head calm down a little bit, and God blimey, that's really strong, smoky coffee that I'm getting from that. Let's dive in. I can't wait any longer. I'm intrigued. Wow. That is really interesting. First thing that hits you is the smooth mouthfeel. Forget the size of that head. That is so smooth, and I'm assuming, and this is what the adjuncts do, they give it a different mouthfeel. The coffee, of course, is flavouring that, and I'm getting that. But the lactose is making that feel so smooth. It's almost like milk. The other big thing that sticks out is that smokiness. Them smoked malts, I'm getting that. And again, a bit like the London Porter, but this is more intense. It reminds me of that German Schlenkerla, the smoke beer. So them smoked malts they're talking about, they're in there too. There's a sweetness to it as well, which is coming from that lactose. It's giving it an almost milky, like mouthfeel, and slightly milky taste as well. Almost like a milk stout, if you can imagine that. A coffee and milk stout. It's so smooth though. It is so smooth. That mouthfeel is just amazing. It is like milk. There's no carbonation in that whatsoever. Flavour's very intense. If you're a fan of espresso, and that's what they've put in this there's espresso beans in there. You really do get that. It's bitter, but there's a sweetness as well. I imagine without that lactose, it would be so bitter, it wouldn't be nice at all. But that lactose evens out the flavour. And as I say, the three main things you're getting them burnt malts, or barleys I'd imagine. Probably both. It's the burnt barley that's giving it that colour. I'd love to know how they burnt them, because there's a smokiness to it which is nice. Almost like that Schlenkerla. Almost as intense as well. They're very similar. So if you tasted that Schlenkerla, you've got that flavour in here. But unlike the Schlenkerla, you've got the lactose in it, which is giving it sweetness, and it's giving it a superb mouthfeel. I can see why it's won that Supreme Ale of Britain, or Supreme Beer of Britain by Camera. I do like it. I do like this. This is good. I like it. It's really good. If you're a fan of your bitter porters and stouts, you're going to love that. What would I give that out of 10? I'd give that an 8 out of 10. I love it. I think it's great. Also, it's restored my faith in beers that have got lactose in them, because that pineapple milkshake IPA just put me right off beers with any lactose in it. It was just disgusting. That goes really well. I love it. 8 out of 10. Definitely recommended. And I'm going to hunt down some more of their beers, because this lot, they sound like they know what they're doing. Really impressed with them. Well done, Siren. That's a solid 8 out of 10. See if you can get that. They do it in Morrison's. It's $2.25 a can, and that's why I've knocked a mark off, because I know they've got overheads and all that, but it's quite expensive for that. But it's worth it, I think. And don't drink this just before you go to work. It's not a breakfast stout in the literal sense. And remember, beer is working class champagne.